Joining me now on East Bay Today, I have two very special friends. I'm calling you friends because you keep coming on this show, and now I just feel like I'm so excited that you're here. I have Marianne Crittenden and Scott Jamieson from the Aquidneck Food Pantry. And that's what we're here to talk about. That's a brand new name, right?
Yes, it is.
That's right.
Scott, tell me a little bit about this name change and why it's so important.
Well, the acronym is easier now. Just AFP makes it a little bit easier. But yeah, we wanted to change our name to differentiate ourselves from the lodge. We came out of the lodge. We were St. John's Lodge Food Bank for a very long time, and we wanted to make sure that folks knew that we were a separate entity from the lodge.
Okay.
So we went through and we changed the name to Aquidneck Food Pantry, which I think better represents our mission and our goal. We want to feed Aquidneck Island and ever so slightly beyond, and so that's really why we changed the name.
Oh, I love that. We've been talking about this. Has been a big build-up for a while.
Yeah.
The last couple times you have been on this show, you've been like, it's coming, it's coming, and it's going to be exciting.
Yes,
Yep, lots of paperwork.
Yes.
Right? Is that really what the hard part was just getting all that in line, or?
It takes some doing.
We followed a lot of steps, and then we'd have a hiccup of something. And then if you send the paperwork in online, you have to pay more. And we're too cheap. So then we had to run to the city, the big city, and yeah.
Right.
But we finally did it.
You did it. Congratulations.
Yeah,
Thank you very much.
How are you
amazing.
finding? Are people excited about that? And
Yes, just so that you know what to put on a check if you make a donation, or just so you know you're using all the correct words of the name and not. What was it again?
Right, well, I like what you said. It's AFP now,
Yes,
right? Not
yes.
SJC1.
Number, yeah, exactly.
Right?
Yes.
Oh, my goodness. All right, well, that's very cool. And I'm seeing that splashed all over the place. So you're clearly getting the word out, and again, on this show to talk about that.
And the word Aquidneck, you have to be from here to even be able to say that word, because nobody knows what Aquidneck is unless you live near Aquidneck Island, because nobody else. So we don't ever get mixed up with anybody else, or if somebody's looking for a food pantry, we'll be first, I would think, or almost first on a list if you're checking online to see where there's food available to help you.
Absolutely. So and you don't have to be on Aquidneck Island.
Correct, no.
Right? You have several people come.
Oh, yes. We have, we have Bristol and Tiverton and Fall River, and
so awesome.
A couple times from people over the bridge, which I can't imagine that's a lot of gas for them. But
Right.
But whoever, if you drive up, we will feed you.
Yes,
so that's
no
a good
questions
thing. No
asked.
questions asked.
That's what I've also learned through this process of getting to know you guys and how you operate, and why you're a little bit of independent from the broader, let's call it the Rhode Island Food Bank.
Yes.
I might be saying the wrong thing, but you really have a value of just some privacy around all of that, right?
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
So no questions asked.
No. And that brings us back to, we are not funded by any government organization or a private organization. It's all on generosity and charity, mostly from the residents of Portsmouth and the surrounding businesses. And then we're now putting in for grants and things like that.
Yeah.
We're
Well,
starting
I just
to
saw
do
this
that.
morning a big splashy BJ's grant came through. That must feel fantastic. I know you got a lot of grants, right? So I don't mean to single them out, but this is a biggie.
We won't say a lot, but it's keeping us afloat, and that's good. We don't sweat as much as Scott and I have been there when we were really sweating it back when we started. But the grants, we have a lot of great volunteers who do all that grant writing.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about some of those volunteers. I've seen Boy Scouts out in the neighborhood.
Yes.
That was an initiative that you worked with the Scouts on, right?
Correct. Once upon a time, when the Boy Scouts did that drive that they just had, where they'd send out the little cards to tell you that the next Saturday they'd be coming by to pick up any food that you would like to offer, and they used to take that to the Rhode Island Food Bank. And 3 years ago, I think, or 2 years ago, they got permission to bring it to us. So this past weekend, the Boy Scouts and all their hard work, and they did work hard, and they did a lot of lifting and a lot of sorting for us.
Very physical, right?
Very physical, yes. They did a great job, and they brought us over 3,600 pounds of food. So, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it was a good one. That's the Scouting for Food initiative within the
Correct.
Boy Scouts,
Yes.
and I think this was Narragansett Council.
Yes.
They did a bang up job. They brought in almost 2 tons of food
Yeah,
for us. So
yeah.
that was.
That
Were
was
you part of the
enormous.
Boy Scouts, Scott?
I was
No?
not.
Okay, well, I'm
She used to
impressed.
call me-
Narragansett Council.
I used to call him Boy Scout instead of Scott, but
But the Boy Scouts where I was growing up in Connecticut, there was not a great presence there at the time when I was growing up. So
Yeah.
I was interested. I had the manual, but I was never a Boy Scout.
Well, it's very impressive what our scouts
yes.
are doing.
And again, it's all people from Portsmouth, from kids up to grandparents, just doing a great thing. I mean, we really are very blessed.
And very grateful.
Yes, very grateful.
Right, right. And again, we've talked about this. Sometimes people are like, really? There's food needs in Portsmouth? And
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah. There's been many official people who've heard of a grant or work in the government in Portsmouth, and they said, we have a food bank in Portsmouth? Or, the people need food in Portsmouth. Yes, they do. We have a lot of people in need, and they're just getting by. And they may not be in need enough to get on special programs, but they need enough to make it through the week, and that's what we're trying to do, is help them make it through the week.
Yeah, last count, we try to advertise this number as a very conservative number because some weeks it's quite a bit more, but we're feeding at least 120 families a week, and approximately 80% of those are from in town right here.
Yes.
So doing the math on that one, that's a lot of folks in Portsmouth who actually need that help with food insecurity.
Right. And a lot of senior citizens
Yeah.
who are on fixed incomes, so
there's
they
the
don't
rub
have
right there, right?
They
Yep.
don't have a lot of options. And again, you work your whole life and you retire and go into your golden years. You should be enjoying life, and you don't know if you're going to have coffee that day or whatever. So it's very important. From people with a bunch of kids to people who work their whole life and they're 75 and I can't get by, and that's a shame. And that's why we're here.
Yeah. Well, and you've got a lot of support. So I understand you guys have joined the Portsmouth Business Association. Is that correct?
Yes, we have.
All right. Tell us about that and what you've discovered in that organization. And
They've been a wonderful group to join, and they're all, their goal is to make Portsmouth better and help Portsmouth and do wonderful things for Portsmouth. And we went to a meeting towards the beginning of the year, and we said, well, we should become a member, and be part of this group. And they have just rallied around us.
Really?
All the businesses they're doing everything they can for us, and you meet people that you would have not have had the opportunity to meet if there wasn't for this organization. And we did so well that they actually gave us the title of Business of the Year in Portsmouth in 2024. We're very
Seriously?
proud of that.
Oh my gosh,
so-
you should be.
Yeah,
I think that's very well deserved.
It was a wonderful thing because we were so new at the organization, and
I guess they just were like, this is very inspiring.
yeah.
A really lovely group of people.
Yeah.
Really great.
Because all of them are out to do good. It's not about necessarily business, it's about doing good. So
Right,
it's a
so
wonderful
it's really
thing.
it's a networking, sharing just what you do, inspiring others, maybe sharing some best practices. I don't know, right?
Yeah.
Was it hard to get into the business association? Was that a
No, we had some of the volunteers went to one of their meetings, which is open to anybody if you'd like to come and check it out. And
Yeah.
and then we said, well, we should be a member.
we should have some business association folks on here so we can just talk about that organization. That sounds like that's been a big
It is a
big
huge
deal.
help. Yes, that would be wonderful if they could come on and tell people about themselves,
Right.
And for them, right now, they're in the midst, the association itself has got boxes at businesses all over on our behalf,
Yes.
so that Thanksgiving and Christmas, they're just doing wonders.
Yeah.
They got
I've seen a box
boxes.
at Common Fence Point at the community
Yes.
hall there, and
Oh,
we
wow.
keep loading it up. and-
Common Fence Point has always been behind the food bank since we started, even during COVID. They have always pulled something together as a community and dropped it off or asked what we needed. So that's the point I'd like to make is the people who live in Portsmouth, they just go above and beyond. They really do.
Very generous, right?
Yes, and when our vice president puts on our Facebook page that we're short on tuna or we could use some coffee because we're having trouble getting it, and boy, Amazon just, drops boxes off at her house, and then she brings it to the food bank, and we really are very blessed
It
to
does
be able
seem
to.
special like that. This is a little off, but we've had the fire chief on here, and he said the exact same thing. So he's been a fire chief in, suburbs of Boston and Fall River and everything, and he's like, never. I could add up everything else combined for the generosity of the people of Portsmouth to our fire department. So you're saying the same thing. There's something kind of magic about Portsmouth, all right? I'm going with that,
Yeah,
right?
I truly agree, because we have some homeless people who actually come through the food bank or who become connected to the food bank, whether we bring them food or whatever the circumstance. And we find out from these people that there are other people in Portsmouth that have seen them or noticed them and asked them what they need. Can we get you a blanket? Do you need some money? I mean, people, just strangers in Portsmouth, will come up to you and see if you appear to be in need, they want to do something. And it's magical, I guess, because Portsmouth, I don't know of any place that I've ever lived that was that kind.
Well, I love hearing that. So, hey, the holidays are coming up. So I think we're really going to be hitting a month or two stretch of hopefully some big generosity, but also seeing some serious needs. So what do you have planned for drives, maybe is the right word? I'm not sure. Yeah.
And presently we have, I believe, 4 churches, local churches, who are having food drives. All the public schools are having food drives, both in November and December, to help fulfill the needs for the holidays. And Common Fence Point is the horse. I don't
we got
know
the
what
caroling.
Yes, the caroling.
On Sunday, the 13th, I might be getting that date wrong, but
14th.
the 14th, yeah. So that's cool,
Yes.
right? They're
Yep.
gonna
And again,
horseback-
Common Fence
horseback
Point always,
caroling and-
yes. Yep.
Oh, yeah.
And then
Oh.
yeah. All right, take it easy. Also, Clements is putting out a little fundraiser for selling a bag for, I think it's $10, and then we'll receive the proceeds. So they're building up some stuff for us for Thanksgiving and Christmas, which they always do.
They're
Clements always
such a
comes
generous,
through. Yes.
generous organization. That's why I shop there.
Yeah.
Because I know that a portion of what I pay for my groceries
Right.
goes to all sorts of wonderful organizations.
And the employees themselves also have their own charitable account that they put their money into from their paycheck. And we actually just received a little a grant, if you want to call it that, from them.
Yeah, wow.
And then PBA, Portsmouth Business Association, matched it. So not only did the employees of Clements give us money, but because of their charity, someone else matched it. So again, it's magical in Portsmouth.
I'm getting the chills.
I
I'm getting
know.
the chills. Well, you all, thank you so much for being back on this show, and I hope you'll just come back and keep us apprised of how things are going. Will you do that?
We'll be
Definitely.
back to see it again.
Okay, awesome.
Yes.
Awesome. Thanks, Scott. Thanks, there, Marianne.
Thank you.
All right, we'll see you next time.
All right, thanks.
Joining me now on East Bay Today, I have Pastor Lauri Smalls. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. Thank you. It's
Now,
a pleasure
listen,
being here.
I know you have your own show, so you are no stranger to this studio, to the lights, and So welcome.
Thank you so
Now
much.
you're on the other end of everything
I know, this is wonderful.
you have some very exciting things to talk about. I feel like you are leading a movement along with your team at the Ministries Alliance of Rhode Island.
Ministers Alliance of Rhode Island.
Ministers Alliance of Rhode Island,
Yes.
MARI.
MARI.
Yeah,
Yes.
I love the acronyms. So tell our audience about this initiative, this movement that you all are all about.
Thank you so much. My name is Lauri Smalls again.
Yeah.
I am the pastor of PTR Ministries. We record here, so this is like a second home to us.
Yeah.
I'm also the treasurer for the Ministers Alliance of Rhode Island, and we have an initiative called the Health and Healing Initiative.
Okay, what is that?
And it's specifically to bring awareness to the 5 screenable cancers, which is breast cancer, lung cancer, colorectal cancer, cervical cancer, prostate cancer.
The biggies.
The biggies.
Everybody knows someone with one of those, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And we started this initiative specifically to help the Black and Brown Indigenous population to not be afraid to talk about cancer.
So that's a big issue.
It's a big issue.
From your perspective, yeah?
It's a big issue, and we had found many times communities of faith avoided going to the doctor, right?
And why is that? Because they're like, I'm going to pray.
I'm gonna go to the altar. I'm gonna talk to my pastor, and
Yeah.
I'm going to.
And we'll all be okay.
Right, and that's wonderful. And I'm a pastor, so obviously I believe in the power of prayer. However, science is very important as well.
Yeah.
Doctors are very important. And God gives us this wonderful thing called faith and intellect so that we can use them together to be wise in taking care of these bodies of ours.
Yeah. Well, so how did you get into this? Was this just something you were seeing in your own ministry and you were like, that's a problem or challenge area that I want to address? Or...
Well, so as you said, everybody knows someone in their family or knows someone. My mother had cervical cancer. My sister had kidney cancer. And by the time they both were detected, it was too late, right? Part of the initiative is that many of us ministers saw the opportunity to say, how can we help our community? It really started with COVID. Because there was
it all comes back to COVID. All the shook things up enough to be like, whoa,
right?
We got to do something different.
Because there was an avoidance, and so we started an initiative called Faith in Science.
Okay.
So we wanted to absolutely marry both of these ideas that you can have faith and still believe in science.
Yes.
Because too many people that are Black and brown were dying needlessly because they were avoiding doctors, they were avoiding the science. And so we felt it was important to stand up as faith leaders to say, we have faith, we also have science.
Yeah. So tell me about, this is a Rhode Island initiative.
Yes.
Ministers from all over. How did you all get together to be like, we need to come together and make this happen?
Well, we applied for a mini grant through the Rhode Island Foundation.
Okay.
To be able to advance this. We thought of that concept.
Yeah.
They thought it was a great idea. And so we were able to partner with the Rhode Island Foundation, United Healthcare, and the Department of Health.
Okay.
And so we thought, how can we make this a statewide initiative? And so we've just been going to churches and community groups, telling people, not that we as pastors are content experts, but we have partnered with doctors who come from diverse ethnic communities to be able to say to the people, there are opportunities, there are resources out here, and don't stop getting information on cancer. One of the things we found out through our training and we call them community conversations. That
I love that. I love that. Can I steal that?
Yes, absolutely. Screenings save lives. Screenings are the first step to survivorship. Right. And the doctors are able to do amazing things through screenings. We found out there are a lot of cancers that are genetic, and there are genetic testings that are available so that people can tell their families. And our hope is that if you're able to tell your story, then you can inform your children and their children, your siblings, and therefore increase the opportunity to survive from cancer.
So it sounds like there's a lot of storytelling in this.
It is, right. Because that's where the faith part comes in, right?
Oh, that's
because
beautiful.
The testimony
Yeah.
is that I say I've gone through this, and it's not a condemnation from God. It's a sickness that came. I trusted, I put my faith in God, and I also trusted my doctor, and I'm here to tell my story.
Yeah,
So.
that sounds really powerful. So when you walk into, let's say, a church for a community conversation,
Yes,
right?
yes.
Are there a lot of people there? What does it look like? Like, is it people are curious or reluctant or enthusiastic? And what would you lead with if you were standing up there? What would be the first thing you would say?
That I'm a pastor. You can absolutely come and tell me about your situation, and I'll point you to a doctor. That's what I start with.
Yeah.
And it's been a wonderful combination. We've had in-person meetings and Zoom, and we've tried to do it both ways.
How interesting, right?
And we've used people who have been diagnosed with cancer, and as survivors, as their testimony to say, I was afraid, this is what happened to me, this is what I found out, but I'm here today. And so it's really been very powerful.
Yeah.
And we're very excited. We've reached about 3,000 people so far. Our goal is...
Congratulations. That's
Thank you.
amazing.
It is.
It is.
It is.
Yeah.
Our goal is 5,000 people.
Okay.
And
By when?
By the end of the year.
Oh, okay. We better get on it.
I
I'm
know.
so glad you're on the show. We're going to get the word out, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
So you've been going about like 9 months. Like this is relatively new, right?
Yes.
All right. And so you're kind of in this phase 1, increased screenings.
Yes.
And what's next after you're going to crush this goal. I know. I can look at you and tell you're going to crush this goal, you and your team. So.
Yes. Wonderful people. So the next phase is to create support groups for those who have been diagnosed with cancer and their caretakers.
Okay.
Really, because now this is where the faith piece come in, where we can pray with them, talk with them.
In your
encourage-
wheelhouse, right?
Listen, this is what we do
Yeah.
all day, every day.
Yeah,
So we
yeah,
can
yeah,
walk them through their experience, allow them to find their own community. So where they can share their stories and find out how we can support them on their next phase in their journey.
Yeah.
And so we're looking for people to be a part of those support groups.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
And then there's going to be a segment too that have survived it.
Yes.
Right? And that's different than the segment that's in it.
That's
I'm sure
exactly
where
right.
they are mentally and so you're working with the survivors too, right?
Right.
Because that's still not without challenge.
It's still not without challenge. And survivorship looks different, right? If I was diagnosed with cancer and I've, gone through my treatment and I'm living in remission. But also there are those of us, again, who've had family members that we took care of and we're still here, we survived, right?
Oh, yeah,
we
yeah,
need
yeah.
a
The
different...
caregivers.
Right, we need a different type of support. And so we're just trying to encourage people to be able to talk about it because keeping those emotions in are not healthy.
Yeah.
Right? And so...
Absolutely not.
Yeah, we're trying to help.
Right.
We're trying to help as much as we can.
Absolutely. Well, so back to screenings.
Yes.
Like if someone watching the show wanted to go to a screening, what do they do? Where do they go to your website and
They could come to our website, which is Ministers Alliance, RI.org.
Yeah.
Or they could reach out to us at the Ministers Alliance. We're on Facebook, we're on YouTube, where any place people will be.
What if I'm nervous, like I don't have money to not only pay for the screening, but I'm sure there's a piece that's like, I don't want to know the results because I can't actually deal with the consequences of all of that financially.
I love that question. We actually have community health workers who are partnering with us, who will go with people to their screenings. We've connected with a couple of agencies who will provide free screening for women. WTL is a clinic that will provide free screening. The Department of Health provides free screening. We don't expect people to navigate. We want to help them walk through that. We will connect them. We will go with them.
Yeah, you're not
we'll
just
take
like,
them.
good luck over there.
You're right.
Right?
Hope it works out. Right? No.
Well, let me give you some really scary information here.
Right,
Good luck.
right,
Yeah.
right. Because one of the things that our survivors have told us in their stories, that the first time that they heard could possibly be cancer, everything stopped. Their hearing stopped, their brain stopped. So we really want to be a partner with people through this journey. And so we have survivors who will go with them to the doctor, to hold their hand, to listen, to help them figure out the next steps.
Oh my goodness. God's work. You're doing God's work.
It is.
Seriously.
It is, and we love it. We are led by some amazing people who really are committed to helping the entire community.
Yeah. So is your whole day about this, or is this just a small piece of the Lauri Smalls puzzle?
It's a small piece. Listen,
yeah, it's just
I'm going to have to come back. We'll have to have another conversation.
Yeah, or maybe I come on your show. And
I would love it.
I don't know. Like,
you could come on PTR.
I don't know what I could really offer on that.
You could. It's all about advocacy, connections, providing information.
I tell you, just personally, I'm just so very much myself about mental health and connection.
Yes.
And in these times, again, going back to COVID, like, everybody's still really broken.
Yes.
I say that 1,000 times, right?
You're absolutely right.
And yeah, you just try to give.
That's it.
You try to give back in every way. I'm so grateful for you and your team.
Thank
so
you
have
so
a
much.
board. I'm assuming you're the treasurer of some board, right?
Right. George Farley is the president.
Okay.
Herbert Johnson, vice president. Pam Bird, the secretary, and we reach all from Woonsocket to Newport, ministries all along.
How many ministries are involved? Is it
currently there's about 25 ministers, pastors who are involved, and so we're excited. We're always looking for more.
Yes. Okay. So our call to actions are: please, if you have a ministry out there, please join us.
Right.
This is very, very important work. And then for all the viewers that could support this in any way, shape, or form, because they are caregivers, they are survivors, they can share a story about how important that screening was.
Yes.
Like,
they could reach out to us. We could come to them to share our story, to help. We're here for community agencies who have constituents who need to get screenings. We'd be happy to come. However we can get the information out, where we want to be there. We want to be the hands in the community. That's what we want to do.
Awesome.
Thank you so much.
Lauri Smalls, thank you.
Thank you so much
for being here and talking about this very
pleasure.
important
Thank you for
movement.
having me.
The Newport Navy Choristers is a local choral group associated with the military that raises money for local 501c3 organizations. If you would like to join us on our journey and learn more about us or become one of our sponsors for a concert to benefit your organization, please visit us at www.newportnavychoristers.org.
The Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Community Center is located in Newport, Rhode Island. Our mission is to nourish, educate, and support Newport County residents to improve their social, economic, and physical well-being. For more information, please visit our website at mlkccenter.org. We'd love you to come volunteer, or if you need help, please turn to us and we'll be there to support you.